Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about reverse ladders. Reverse ladders are something that we use in kettlebell training quite often. Reverse ladders are kind of unique. They have to be done with a single arm implement. You can't do this with, say, a symmetrical barbell, because the whole point of the reverse ladder, as I'm talking about it, is that you don't put the weight down. So we had a question on one of our last videos, why reverse ladders instead of, say, pyramids or, say, ladders? So let's talk about the thought process that goes into deciding which one of these things you would use. For the most part, I stick with reverse ladders because they get easier as they go. That's the statement. They get easier as they go. We are trying to learn to not fail. We are trying to learn to succeed. So we want to set up our training in such a way that we can succeed. So we are starting with a classic reverse ladder, which is 3 reps left, 3 right, 2 left, 2 right, 1 left, 1 right. It gets easier as it goes, but the total volume is actually 6 and 6. 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6. We get a total of 6 reps, but they get easier as they go, as opposed to a ladder, which gets harder as it goes. 1 goes to 2, goes to 3. It gets harder as it goes. That is fine with a light weight. That is not fine with a heavy weight. If you're trying to push heavier weight, you would like it to get easier as it goes, because there's a neurological thing that happens between success and failure. If you succeed, then your brain has basically a positive reaction to the training. If you keep trying to do an ascending ladder with a heavy weight and you keep failing, you're essentially teaching yourself that you fail and that you're unable to do it, which has a negative effect on you. We want to train for success, not for failure. A pyramid would go up and then down. It would be a ladder up, 1, 2, 3, and then a reverse ladder down, 2, 1. It could also be a flat pyramid. It could be 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. You would probably go from normal pyramid, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, to a flat pyramid, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, to another peak pyramid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. The problem with pyramids is that they take a long time. That's mainly the reason that I don't use a lot of pyramids, is that they do take a long time. So let's think, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Our reverse ladder takes 1 to 1.5 minutes. And that's very predictable. 1, if it's a generally lightweight, 1.5 minutes if you're pushing a heavier weight. I can predict that amount of time. The same thing is true on 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. I can predict that that's going to take 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And if I do my high reverse ladder, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then usually that takes about 2.5 minutes. I like this strategy because it's very time predictable. When I build up to 5 sets, I know that at the hardest, it's going to take about 20 minutes. It's time predictable. The same thing would be true of ladder. The time frames would be the same, except that it would get harder as it goes instead of easier as it goes. That depends on your coach. I almost never do ladders because I don't want it to get harder as it goes. I want training to get psychologically more survivable as it goes. You can plan other types of workouts that are meant to be mentally challenging, but pure strength work with a kettlebell is not one of those things that I want to be pure mentally challenging. I would rather you get the mental challenge from adding more volume and turning it into volume cycles than into just making it intentionally hard. I try not to make training intentionally hard because then people don't want to do it. There are a lot of types of training that are intentionally hard. CrossFit comes to mind. CrossFit is intentionally hard. A lot of martial arts schools are intentionally hard. Those martial arts schools that still really hold on to that 1980s Cobra Kai kind of vibe where they're trying to break you just for fun. I'm not a big fan of that. I would like everybody to learn to succeed because I want more people to move into higher levels of athletics. I don't want to start weeding people out on the first day by trying to make them do ladders. I'm not trying to weed anybody out. I'm trying to add more people. Pyramids just take a long time. They just take a long time. If we know 3, 2, 1 takes 1 minute, then 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 takes 1.5 to 2 minutes. When I get up to 5 sets, which is just my random number of picks of the number of ladders that I like to do because it builds up to 75 reps on each side, down here at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 times 5. I know that that is still sub 20 minutes. I can get people to do sub 20-minute workouts on the regular. I can get them to do that. A pyramid workout starts taking longer than that. Now you're looking at 30 minutes of pressing by itself. That in itself is a mentally hard thing to do. I try not to do that just because I'll try to keep things more time controlled. I like to keep my kettlebell strength sub 20 minutes if I can, because my club programs are 32 minutes. So I like the amount of time that everything takes each day to stagger. Everything that I'm programming is always some kind of weird, super complicated rolling wave, but they're really not that complicated. Keep the kettlebells shorter, keep the clubs longer, because clubs are lighter weights with higher levels of complexity. Because this is trying to be pushed up in weight, we would like it to take less time so that you can then focus on other types of training as well. We're always thinking of all of these options as part of a larger training idea, much larger training idea. Kettlebells go with clubs, go with maces, go with slam balls, go with aerial training, go with judo, go with BJJ. We're always trying to figure out how to balance the workload between all of these things. So think about that. Reverse ladders, time controlled, they get easier as they go, which is the main point, because we are not trying to weed people out of training. We are trying to get people to succeed at training.